Update on the X748. I got the motor in. I did not connect the charge pump PTO to the engine yet. I just finished changing the engine oil, the filter, added coolant. I'm going to have to add more coolant because I did drain all the coolant out of the engine block as well. I ended up changing the transaxle filter today. I did add low-vis high guard to that, and I am going to have to add more to that as well. I'm going to have to add more to that because I did drain the entire hydraulic system. The hydraulic cooler, the valve block, the cylinder, and I am going to be adding a second cylinder to this tractor and separating the rear 3-point hydraulic cylinder and the mower deck hydraulic cylinder. I'm also going to be separating the two of those from the front SCV. Along with that, I'm going to be adding the joystick modification to this tractor, and the joystick will just run the front 4 ports for the SCV, and then the 2 handles here, this one will run the mid-mount mower, and this one will run the 3-point hitch. So I have a 8 gallon a minute 2-port hydraulic valve coming for that. I have another cylinder coming for that. I found one used on eBay with free shipping, so plus there, and that was like 125 bucks. The 2-port hydraulic valve, or 2-spool hydraulic valve, was 140 plus like $15 shipping. So got that coming, and I do have I have the ability to fire this tractor up right now. However, while I was taking this tractor apart, I did mess. You have to excuse my bench, guys. These are all parts of what I'm getting into. But I didn't wreck this by any means, but somehow water or something got into this upper valve here. And what happened is this spring assembly and everything gummed up. Along with that, this is the front cap for that spring assembly. You can see how much corrosion and everything. This was literally packed full of just corrosion and Lord knows what. So there was a detent ball missing out of that. These little springs that sit in those like cap nuts there that screw in here, you guys can see that. These springs will not come out of there. I figured, you know what, I'm gonna buy a rebuild kit for it. So I went on DeereParts.com, looked up a rebuild kit for this float detent, and it's $270. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Called up Sawyer Danfoss, who makes this valve, and asked them about it. They gave me another number for like their hydraulic division or whatever, which is an entirely different building in a different part of Iowa where they're located and made. Called them up and they said I have to call my local rep. Got a hold of the rep, and the rep said these are proprietary parts and they cannot get parts for them or service them. I have to get everything exclusively through John Deere. So I'm not going to pay that price. So I ended up finding a brand new detent kit on eBay, luckily just by chance, and it was $135 with free shipping. Add to cart, buy it now, whatever. I didn't even think about it. I bought it right away. So the plunger, I guess, mechanism is actually in pretty good shape. It's just this piece, oops, right there is just shot. It wouldn't move or anything. So this is getting rebuilt. So I have to wait to fire this all up. I would love to fire it up right now and get it running and everything like that, but I can't. I have to wait until next week when those parts come in and I can get that rebuilt and installed on the tractor. Along with next week, the other valve assemblies coming in. I do have a set of T-fittings coming for this valve block. So you have your in port and then your out port for your hydraulics here. I'm adding a T to each one of these so I can tee off and go to that other valve assembly. So I have to put those on, and then I have to put the hydraulic lines on, and then I can mount this. I did buy a set of, and I have to find them here, where'd they go, right here, 3/4 inch spacers. These are just chrome or steel spacers or whatever, and they're gonna go where the bolt holes are just to shim this thing out, because I am doing the joystick mod of this, so I do have to shim this out away from the frame of the tractor. I have not figured out where I'm going to mount that other valve block, but I wanted to get the motor in and get all the correct things connected and hooked up first, so I don't mount that valve block and then have to put the motor in and go, well, that hits, so that's not going to work. I also probably am going to put the 45 loader bar in here, just so I can have it in and ready, so that I know, hey, this valve assembly is not going to hit this bar. It'll probably just get rested in there. I'm not 100% sure yet, because I don't know when I'm going to get the joystick or anything like that for it. I'm not sure when all that's gonna come about. I'm gonna get pretty busy again here with a side job coming up probably in the next couple weeks, so I don't want to get too involved with this and then have to leave it. I'd rather just get it running and come back to it at a later date, if that makes sense. So, but like I said, I just put the brand new oil in it. I went with Shell Rotella T6 5W40 engine oil. It's diesel motor oil. I was going to do like a 10-hour change or like a 50-hour change on the transaxle fluid. And along with that, I was going to do the same thing with the motor. I did get another oil filter from the previous owner. It was new. The end is at least new and wrapped. You can see it here. I looked at the part number on it. Let's see if it'll focus on that. Anyway, it's not focusing. The part number is AM107423. I looked that part up on John Deere's website. This is for like the GX style lawnmowers. I looked this part number up on greenpartsstore.com, and it's for like the 2-wheel drive Gator that's got like the gas motor in it and everything. It's got a Kawasaki part number on it as well. The Kawasaki part number is 49065-2078, and it does have a Toro part number on it, NN10684. So I'm glad I checked before I put this on, because that was my plan initially. I do run Baldwin oil filters on everything. The Baldwin part number is a B1400 for these Yanmar 3TNV76 motors. So I'm glad I double checked. I'm certain this probably honestly would have worked just fine, but I'm not going to chance it, not with this diesel motor. So anyways, I'm still going to do like that 10-hour or 50-hour change or whatever it is, but I'm going to have to wait now, which is no big deal. I'll just order new filters. These Baldwin filters aren't that expensive to do that, so it's no big deal. And this way I can get, because I don't know the major service history on this tractor, and going with that, I literally had to crush this transaxle filter to the point where I put holes in it before it would even budge to come off. And no, I was not turning it the wrong way. You can see up top here there is some rust starting on it. I don't know the history and how long this filter's been on here or not, I couldn't tell you. So, but it was stuck on there. I don't know if the previous owner, if he ever changed the filter on the transaxle. I would like to say that he did, but I honestly don't know. So, but it was as you can see, it was a bear to get off. Luckily I have a filter wrench, because if I didn't have a filter wrench, I wouldn't have got it off, and I would have had to go buy one. So put one of them on there, and I figured it's coming off anyway, so I don't really care that I crush it. And kind of the same thing with the engine oil filter here. I did have to crush it a little bit, but these are pretty chintzy, I guess, metal, so I just, these crush fairly easily. The only thing that kind of concerned me when I did buy the tractors, it said 11-22 hours. I don't know if that's when this needed to get changed, or if that's when it got changed last. I'm guessing that's when it last got changed, because the tractor has like 1,218 hours on it. So, and the motor oil didn't look bad when I initially did the pre-purchase inspection, I guess if you will. So, but I like to change the oil and everything, and I'm pretty meticulous about it. I change it well in advance of the scheduled changes at like 200-hour intervals. I do my 585 in the spring and in the fall. I figure I get a season of mowing on the engine oil and the filter, and I change it. And then the same thing in the winter, I get a season of snow blowing on it, and I change it along with the filter. And then it seems to be probably about 50 hours, I want to say. So every other year I change the transaxle fluid, and I just changed the transaxle fluid in that, I believe it was this past fall. So yeah, not this coming fall, but the following, I will change that transaxle fluid in that. This one I'm going to probably do here after I put some hours on it. So like I said, I'm going to run this tractor around a lot here within the next couple, 2 or 3 weeks, once I get it running, and just, really get it to use. And that way, once with everything moving, I can recheck the hardware that's been loosened and taken off and put back on, so I can make sure none of that stuff is coming off. So yeah, that's kind of where we sit, guys. If you guys are wondering, the X748 diesel fuel caps do fit the older style X series. So you can, those of you that have the red, or pink, pale pink diesel fuel caps, you can swap those out. Personally, I think it looks much better. And it not only, this probably had a sticker on it at one time. This one is green for diesel, and I think this one won't fade as fast as this one. This one did have the D on it and the fuel thing for diesel, but yeah, gone. That's all rags from greasing this thing. And yeah, I went through about a tube of grease. Not even a tube, maybe a quarter of a tube, I'll say, greasing the tie rod, the power steering cylinder, the PTO shafts, pumping grease in them until I got new grease to come out of every U-joint, and make sure you get all the old grease out of the caps, or the joints. Any of the service points, I made sure new grease was pumped into everything. The steering cylinder one there, I pumped and pumped and pumped and pumped and pumped, and it was very, it wasn't even almost like grease consistency. I mean, it was yet a little bit, but it was very, very, very black and very thin grease that was in there. So it was very wore down. It probably hadn't been greased in a while. So the one bonehead thing that I do have to talk about in this video, and I am very upset at myself for doing this. It's going to cost me $70. It's a learning experience. It's a patience thing as well. The depth gauge limiter bar, I bought a brand new one on John Deere Parts, and you can see I snapped the end off. This big heavy duty piece here sits on here like so, and then the spring has a place to sit in there. Because I'm making this an H4 mod tractor, so H4 means the 4 hydraulic cylinders or 4 hydraulic ports. I was trying to get this assembly back off the tractor after I put it on. Like an idiot, I forgot there was bushings on each end of the frame, so I had the piece, and I'm trying to rack it one way or another, so I have it and I'm trying to push it this way and push it this way and push it this way and pull and twist and snap. I was in a hurry. It was stupid, but that's the weak point. Now, I would dare bet the previous owner of this tractor, the guy, not the guy I bought it from, but the guy before that, did the same thing. This is welded in the same spot that this one here broke. You can see that there. So I'm not going to weld that piece on there. I'm going to swallow my pride and order another one and just be done with it and chalk it up as a very big a very expensive learning experience. But yeah, it is what it is. So, but anyways, guys, enough rambling from me. That's the update on the X748. The next couple days I'll get it fired up and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. See ya.